Okay, so today's lesson is on solving absolute value equations. So before we start, you need to understand what absolute value means. Okay, so if you have absolute value of a number x is equal to c, it means that whatever value x is, it has to be c distance from 0. For example, if I have absolute value of x is equal to 5, what that means is on a number line, you have a 0 and you go 5 places away from, see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 places away from 0, you get to that point, and that is your x. Okay, so what does x have to be? Well, you go 5 paces away from 0, you get 5. But it's not just 5, right? It's 5 to the other side also. This is also the distance is 5, right? So x is also here. So x is also negative 5. Okay, so that's the idea of absolute value. Okay, so let's actually solve equations with that. Now I have absolute value of x minus 5 is equal to 7. All this basically means is that you're looking for the value that is 7 steps away from 5, basically. 7 steps away from 5. So it's on either side of 5, 7 this way, 7 that way of 5. But so the way you solve it is that you write it as two different equations. One is you keep it the same, but without the absolute value, right? You just solve that, you get one solution. And then you do another, and you keep the absolute value, the stuff inside the absolute value the same, but the other side is equal to the negative of that, right? Negative 7. Because absolute value means you can have it on the right and on the left. So positive and negative 7. So you just solve that, and you get x is equal to 12, or x is equal to negative 2. The thing about these problems is that you have to check the solutions because sometimes they don't work. Okay, sometimes you get a solution where you did all the steps correctly, but it still doesn't work. So you have to check. What we call is check for extraneous solutions. Extraneous, okay. Wait, extraneous solutions. So to check for that, I want to check right here. I want to put the 12 in for the x. So I have absolute value of 12 minus 5 is equal to 7. So that gives you 12 minus 5 is 7. So absolute value of 7 is equal to 7. That works. Okay. And I want to check this one. I want to put negative 2 in. So I have absolute value of negative 2 minus 5 is equal to 7. Remember, when you check, you use the original equation. Okay. Check, you use that. Okay, so put negative 12 in the absolute value, minus 5. So what's negative 2 minus 5? Negative 7. What is the absolute value of negative 7? 7. So they work, right? So you have 7 equals 7. That works. So both solutions will work. So you take both of them, okay? Both work. Let's try another one. I have absolute value of 2x plus 12 equals to 4x. So I'm going to write out the two equations again. That is 2x plus 12 is equal to 4x. And then I have 2x plus 12 is equal to negative 4x. All right, you solve that. Subtract 2x. I have 12 is equal to 2x. So divided by 2, I have 6 is equal to x, and I have to check that. Let me solve this side first. So subtract 2x. I have 12 is equal to negative 6x divided by negative 6. I have negative 2 is equal to x. And I also have to check that. Okay, so I put 6 into the original equation. Not these, you have to put it into the original one. So I have 2 times 6 plus 12 is equal to 4 times 6. So 2 times 6 is 12 equals to 4 times 6 is 24. So absolute value of 12 plus 12 is 24. So absolute value of 24 is 24. So I'm good. Okay. Now when I check this, I put negative 2 in. So I have absolute value of 2 times negative 2. Whoops. Plus 12 equals to 4 times negative 2. Here I have absolute value of negative 4 plus 12 equals to negative 8. Then negative 4 plus 12 is positive 8. What is the absolute value of positive 8? 8. Is 8 equal to negative 8? No, this does not work. So this is extraneous right here. All right, that's extraneous. Your only solution is x is equal to 6, okay? X equals negative 2 is an extraneous solution. That does not work. Does not work, all right? We'll do one more example and then we should be done. So here I have 5x minus 10 equal to 45. I split that into two equations. 5x minus 10 is equal to 45, or 5x minus 10 is equal to what? Negative 45, right? So you just keep the same, but you make one stay positive, one turn to negative, all right? So you solve for this, you plus 10 on both sides. 5x is equal to plus 10, not 5. 55. Then x is equal to 11. Here, you add 10 to both sides. 5x is equal to negative 35. Then x is equal to negative 7. Okay, ooh, whoops, I shouldn't have boxed that. I gotta check it first. So I put 11 into the equation on top here, or the original equation. Okay, the original. So I put 11 into the original equation. So I have absolute value 5 times 11 minus 10 is equal to 45. So here I have 55 minus 10 is equal to 45 inside the absolute value, right? So I have absolute value of 45 equals to 45. So absolute value of 45 is 45. This is good. This is a solution. X is equal to 11. Let's check this one. So I put negative 7 into the original equation, right? So absolute value of 5 times negative 7 minus 10 equals to 45. So that gives you negative 35 minus 10 is equal to 45. Negative 35 minus 10 is negative 45. Absolute value of negative 45 is 45. So both of them work. So they're both solutions. All right, so let's actually do one more example here where you have things that are outside your absolute value. Okay, so if you have things outside the absolute value, you have to get rid of them first before you split them into the two things, right? Because splitting them is the idea of the absolute value where you have the negative and positive. But it doesn't apply to these guys outside, so you have to get rid of them first. So I have to add 4 to both sides. So I have 2 times x plus 5 is equal to 14. And then I divide it by 2. So I have absolute value of x plus 5 is equal to 7. All right, here is when you split that into the two equations like how we did with the other examples, because now it's just absolute value equals to something. So here you have the two equations, x plus 5 is equal to 7, and then you have x plus 5 is equal to negative 7. All right, so here you subtract 5, x is equal to 2, and then you subtract 5, you have x is equal to negative 12, and then again you check them. So you put into the original equation, this one right here. So you have 2 times 2 plus 5 minus 4 is equal to 10. And then you do the absolute value first, because absolute value is kind of like your parentheses, they go first. So you have 2 times the absolute value of 7 minus 4 is equal to 10. What's the absolute value of 7? 7. And 2 times 7 is 14. So 14 minus 4 is 10. 10 is equal to 10. That works. So we take this solution. Let's check this one. I have 2 times negative 12 plus 5 minus 4 is equal to 10. So 2 times the absolute value of negative 12 plus 5 is negative 7 minus 4 is equal to 10. 2 times absolute value of negative 7. What is the absolute value of negative 7? Positive 7. Positive 7 times 2 is 14. Minus 4 is equal to 10. So that works. So I take both of them. Both of them are solutions. Okay, so remember, if you have things outside the absolute value, you get rid of them first, and then you split into the positive and the negative, and you solve for both, and then you check for both. Okay.